It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
It's Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Sat Matt. I am Kyle Olson from the Marvel Movie Minute. I am guest hosting today. And with me, as always, is the infamous, notorious, the handsomest man in all of podcasting, Tommy.
That's me. Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
And the boss himself, the big man who's going to kick everybody out of the chair and take over for the month of November, Mr. Pete Wright.
I think, that was too much build-up for Tom. That was too kind. You have to meter.
It is not.
You have to meter the kindness to Tom, or he goes.
I thought this was all still part of my introduction. You'd be like, but enough from you, Pete. Back to Tommy, and then I just keep going.
I was just about to pivot, and once again, see, this is a problem. Pete is not used to not being in the big chair.
That's right.
So I'm in the big chair. You are a guest, sir. This is my show for the next hour, and then never again.
It's all you. I'm shutting up. Shutting up, sir.
So what have you guys been watching over the last?
Is anyone else watching the new Fargo season? Or do people... there was such a huge wait. I wonder if... Because it was always my favorite... When it was on TV, it was always my favorite TV show.
I was religious about the first two seasons, and I sort of fell off for season 3.
Yep.
But then because I knew you wanted to talk about it, I watched the first episode of season 4, and I am hooked again.
Oh, it is Noah Hawley...
Yeah,
we'll never know. Is I think my favorite showrunner of all time. All of the stuff that he uses is so, and it's so complicated and so cinematic. I feel completely comfortable bringing it up on a film podcast because it is so cinematic, and he uses the camera and the different way. It's just outstanding.
He has such an unusual way of telling a story that, like, any other person would take the same story of, like, that for season 4 and follow, like, a gangster, like pick a guy and do that. But, like, no, his point of view character is, like, at this point so peripheral.
No.
That doesn't even know what's going on in the main plot.
First 15 minutes, we go through like decades of different gangs and stuff. It looks like it cost $900 million.
Yes.
And it is so great. And Chris Rock, when I heard that he was cast as sort of the lead, I was like, uh-oh, because I remember Dogma. But he's really good so far. He's mainly just sort of squinting. But he's strong, and he's good at, like, the period. He's like, we've already had this back and forth, and it's believable. It doesn't seem like someone playing dress up. So I am
that's right. He's also
excited.
not trying to be funny, which I think is a really good thing. So, like, he's very still, which it's not very a Chris Rock thing you would think of.
Yeah.
And it's very, so just watching that, I'm hooked again.
Oh,
like,
that's
Noah
exciting.
Hawley, you've done it again.
I just sort of wanted to bring it up real quick just to remind people, hey, Fargo's back, and it's...
Yeah, and if you are a Hulu subscriber, now you can get it as part of your package.
That's
it's
right.
just built in.
Just one day late, right?
Yes, one day late. Yep.
I haven't watched it since the end of season 1, and I don't know why. Like, I feel like I loved it. I loved season 1. It was fantastic. And then season 2 happened, and where the hell did I go? I don't know where I went. I know I found Legion, and I went crazy for Legion, and fell in love with Noah Hawley again. And maybe that's my problem.
Are you also, and I'm not, this isn't a leading question, are you not as big of a fan of anthologies? Because Legion is a continuing story. Fargo is a reboot every single season.
Unrelated question. Yeah, it's not. I like them all. I am an equal opportunity. Come on, I will watch just about anything.
This is an answer by someone that doesn't know the definition of
I know
anthology.
exactly.
I watch that. I watch this.
No,
I watch it all.
I'm telling you all the great shows.
An
anthology. I know you are a troll. You are a troll. I know exactly what an anthology show is, and I watch it. I'm just saying I like well-written shows, mostly by Noah Hawley. I don't watch anything else.
All
is
right,
there
Sarah
more?
Palin. Yeah, you watch everything. You still haven't proven to me that you know what anthology means. I read whatever's put in front of me. I watch whatever
What is that?
show.
What is
I'm
that? That's the other. Okay, by definition, the other show that I haven't watched that is also an anthology show is that the horror show, the one that's the American Horror Story. Never watched that, but I know it's an anthology show.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Okay.
There you
Nailed
go.
it.
All right. I find interesting that no one in Hollywood movies seems to be a fan of Noah Hawley. It blows my mind that there are 2 finished Noah Hawley scripts sitting on a shelf that no one is interested in making. One of them is called Star Trek, and the other one is called Doctor Doom.
Man!
And no one is producing either of them, and it just blows my mind.
Challenging and Lucy in the Sky just very recently bit the dust.
Did not do very well.
No, critically or financially or movily.
Don't stop
the third
talking.
option.
Look, I think the Star Trek one has been deflated for so many other reasons besides Noah Hawley. I think that script is done. Yeah. But the other one, Doctor Doom, needs to be handled. I need to see that property.
Yes, some way or another.
Tom, I know, has been talking a lot about Doctor Doom with his therapist.
It was my nickname in junior high. You can hear me through my mask.
Okay, speaking of shows that Tom's watched, can I have one?
Of course.
Oh, okay, sure.
How caught up are you with the second season of The Boys?
How deep of an answer do you want here?
See, I know you're on fire about this. I even bring it up and those synapses start firing.
Okay. So I have not watched The Boys, but it's not because of time. It's because of the author.
You're not a Garth Ennis guy?
I am not a big fan of Garth Ennis. No, I liked Garth Ennis in Preacher, but I find he's a member of that generation that came after Alan Moore, who just like took the gonzo storytelling of like I can talk about anything and left all the real strong content behind and just seems to want to write the most shocking thing he possibly can. I mean, like there's a whole generation of guys there. I mean, Mark Miller's like that. I mean, there's the whole like legion of them who are just like they're all trying to like top each other. Like, I had a guy that put him in a meat grinder. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I had a guy in a meat grinder on a plane on fire. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, there just seems to be things. So I have stayed away from it just because I know what kind of stories he likes to tell. Now, Eric Kripke, on the other hand, who created Supernatural, is running the show. So that almost lured me in. But now you're going to tell me why or what I should or should not
I just love that you are torn asunder inside about this between your allegiances. I really do. Tommy?
I'm a huge Garth Ennis fan, but everything Kyle is saying is right. Like the Cross series, I had to stop reading because it was too disgusting. I'm a big fan of his Punisher line, but at times it's too gross and also weirdly racist at times. Like he's problematic in his war stories, a lot of stuff. Yeah. It's a good point.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
I'll tell you. This is the thing that I like so much about this. I think The Boys as an original as a property itself, the books. I never read the books and the comics, but I know we're not talking about like beloved DC characters, and that's what I have always had a problem with. Where you take these characters that are beloved with a history, and you make Superman's now a neck breaker, right? Or those are the kinds of violations that I hate. When you take these properties, these rules that have been set for generations, and you say for no good purpose, we're actually going to start tearing things apart, and I don't like that. I like, if you're going to do that, give me a Watchmen. Give me something that is going to tell me a story that is bigger and has earned the kind of, culture shattering sort of violence. And I think The Boys has really locked into that. I think what the story in season 1, setting up the story of season 1, and even while using extraordinary superhero violence, I think ends up being a certain sort of genre-defining, property that is so perfectly suited for the Amazon, Netflix nation. Like this is the kind of thing that you can make in 10-hour serials that makes sense, and it challenges your views. It actually, for me, it actually helps reframe the sort of cultural battle, the sort of haves and have-nots as told through the eyes of these superheroes. It definitely takes on blatant nasty corporatism, and it doesn't.
Yeah, if superheroes are run by a corporation that are interested in profits, what does that mean?
Bad. It's a dystopia. It's the worst.
It's a very, and it's also really cool. I love that you brought up the idea of how it's a great fit for Netflix and Amazon in that it doesn't, even though it's very dark in overall subtext and tone, it doesn't Zack Snyder it.
No,
It's
it really
a very
doesn't.
bright show that is filled with ultraviolence.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty show to watch.
That should be on the poster.
It's a pretty show to watch.
There are some just horrible things, but season 2, I'm not completely caught up on season 2. I'm a few episodes in, and so far, I feel like they haven't really lost the thread, and I was worried about that. I still feel like I get what they're going for, and I am enjoying it. So, sounds like you're further along than I am, Tom.
I think probably I'm all caught up before this weekend, but if you want off air, I can tell you there's a couple really big fun winks at the original graphic novel and one or two really big changes which actually have made the stories much more interesting.
So before we let Kyle tell us why he's going to start watching immediately, should I be reading the books?
I think that the show is doing as good or a better job of integrating it with the world.
Like it's not a Garth Ennis comic, but I didn't like the Kick-Ass comic, but I liked the Kick-Ass movie.
Sure.
Because of what they added to it, and they actually had a heart to it in addition to the ultraviolence. So that's the thing, is I'm not against graphic ultraviolence. There is a place for that, but not when it's just for its sake. So if you're saying that there actually is a strong story that goes along with it, then
I think it's stronger in the TV show.
Is it one of those things where you have to watch like 6 episodes before it gets good? Because that's often an Amazon problem.
No, you'll get it in 10 minutes.
You'll know in 1.5 episodes whether it's for you or not. It is unflinching.
Okay.
And it keeps that tone throughout. The thing that'll really stop you is if you absolutely hate Carl Urban. Because he's very Carl Urban-y.
He is peak Carl Urban in this show. Yeah,
he's urbaning all over the place, but he's a perfect choice for the role of Butcher.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I just feel like we've never really mentioned it. We've never really talked about it on the show, but it is one of those that if you have the stomach for it, if you consider CG graphic violence and beautiful special effects as works of art and not horrifying stuff of nightmares, then this is definitely the show for you.
And I heard in a recent episode they took a shot at the Snyder cut too, so
I might not be smart. I know that they took a shot at Avengers: The Last Avengers. Because
maybe it was more of a
I think it was
Whedon
that
thing,
just because in the last Avengers there's that big moment when all of the women line up in a row and do the kind of march thing, which I liked, but most of people that I know were like, gross. This isn't a big spoiler, but in this world, because superheroes are real, but they're in a corporate world, they're making a superhero movie within the show. And there's this really overdone shot where it's like, how do you do it? He goes, because women get it done. And like the music stings, that seemed like an exact wink and punch up at Avengers. As like a platitude, destroying a platitude.
And so the shows have these lovely allegories or these lovely parallels to Marvel and DC. And I watched so recently where the show's Superman character had his way with Daredevil, and it's haunted my dreams. So, but I'll tell you, there are some peak moments where they challenge just like what it means to save the day, and just put a pin in. I want to report back when you watch the episode in which Homelander and one of his teammates has to go save the airplane.
Maeve.
Because, for those who've seen it, you're...
Okay. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that report. So, there you go.
So, before we get into some news stuff, you had some internal news you wanted to report on, stuff that's going on the next reel.
Oh, right. How sad! We've got a Trailer Rewind is coming back for members on 9/30, and you know what date that was? It was yesterday, and so that is a thing that is out for members. It'll be coming out on October 7th. In the main feed, and it features Steve Sarmento, the good and kindly King of the North. He is actually talking with our own Tommy Handsome about the film
That's me!
Villains. Yeah,
Handsomest
and so they're
man in
talking about villains,
podcasting?
and so it's a
How
whole
did
new
you book him?
format. So Steve is interviewing somebody or is talking with somebody else on the team about a different movie. And Tommy, you did great.
Thank you. I didn't know that this movie even existed, and I'm so happy to have watched it and talked about it with Steve. Did I like it? Who knows?
Tune in and find out.
I'm so good at cliffhangers.
Yeah, so that's it. Trailer Rewind. It's back in the feed.
Become a member and you can find out today.
Absolutely.
So they're making a Lion King prequel because when you make $1 billion, it's contractually obligated to go.
Wait,
make
prequel? Why is prequel the way to go? So it's just like baby. It's like lion babies.
Yeah, you know what? I would be interested in seeing Lion Babies. No, I believe they're doing the Mufasa Scar story. Like how Scar got his scar.
Oh,
like
I'd be down for that, I guess. I still haven't seen the whatever, the CGI one.
And that's why you're interested in seeing it.
Oh, you weren't a fan?
No.
I loved the animated version. I don't even like animation movies.
I love the animated version. I think was great, and they tried to recreate the entire, even like shot for shot, like the other one, with expressionless, realistic animals, and it just doesn't work because a lion doesn't emote. Like when you have a photorealistic lion, it's like, "Dad, you're dead," and it's just blank stare. It's just like
weird.
Nothing, just nothing.
Okay.
I mean, like none of the emotional beats hit because it's a realistic animal. It's like, yeah, I guess that lion's afraid of those jackals.
Because the thought balloon over his head is saying, "Man, those jackals are what I'm afraid of."
Because I mean, the vocal performers are doing their job, but like it was like they were so committed to this realism thing that I don't think it worked.
Oh, I didn't know that. That was Favreau, right?
Yeah, it was Favreau. I say Favreau.
Yeah, it was. And I'll tell you, on the front of creating fully realized digital animal characters, success. They are amazing.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Yeah, struggle.
Telling an emotional
I think
story with
Favreau
them?
should make like
fail.
The Zoo Part 2 or something. Like we bought a zoo and just make all CG
Like,
animals
we bought
because yeah, he would be great
still
at that.
own a zoo.
Just emotionless animals in a cage.
Part 3. By God, won't someone buy this zoo from us?
I agree. I had a rough time. But so we're saying that the prequel is going to be photoreal, not animated.
Yes, it's going to be just like the original one, and it's going to be actually not directed by Favreau, though I assume that he'll be producing it probably through his thing. They actually got Barry Jenkins to direct it.
Wow.
From Moonlight.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It's his first time dealing with really, like, it's gonna be interesting walking from the Moonlight set over to a pure green.
It's just
room.
a green treadmill,
and there's guys in green unitards rolling around the ground and go, "All right, start directing."
Yeah, no, that'll be. I am not, in principle, I'm not against a prequel of this story. I think go for it. If there's more story to be told, certainly find it.
I'm sorry, this is Disney. If there's more money to be made, I think if you go Disney Plus, you'll find plenty of Lion King stories have been told in various formats. So we have a casting change for The Witcher. One of the actors dropped out. And I know that this is not like the biggest news story, but I'm kind of fascinated by this because this is, I think, like the first pebble in what's going to be an avalanche. Ørsted Rasmussen actually filmed scenes and then COVID happened. And now because of COVID, he can't go back and do more. So they have to recast him. But I think that's just the beginning of casting changes we're going to see. This is going to be a major change because we've already seen Liv Tyler had to quit 911 Lone Star because she lives in London.
She can't get back.
Can't get back to doing
so
the
they're
filming.
not necessarily sick. It's also just about barricades.
Yeah, basically, right. So I think this kind of is a big out for any actors who don't want to do their stuff anymore. I'm not saying Liv Tyler.
Just all of a sudden,
but I'm saying,
is it hot?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't have to be in the third season of that Lethal Weapon TV show.
Right. just like I can't be on 911 Boston because I just sorry I can't stand over another body anymore. I mean it really we could see some. I mean, we're already seeing like they just shut down all the CW productions because of COVID.
Oh, geez, I had not heard that.
All 4 shows that we're shooting up there, Riverdale.
Wow.
Yeah, those just came out that today. I didn't have time to put it in the lineup. They had basically said, "Hey, everybody, go home because you can't film right now." So like all those shows shut down. Wow. So who knows when we're going to see any more stuff? But I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of casting changes will be made.
Yeah, just faces that are recast around news that we don't even hear. Right? I mean, it's just, I think it's they're recasting the digital replacement for Paul Walker, actually, in The Witcher, in everything. First time was the best time.
All right, so that's all that we have for news. So I think let's move on to trailers.
Oh, I get to go first. You
do. The A24 card has been played. Tell us about your trailer, Pete.
My trailer is Minari. It's a Korean film from writer-director Lee Isaac Chung, starring Steven Yeun, Yeri Han, Yoo Jung Yoon, and it's a coming to America film, but I have to say it feels like a coming to America film in tone and tenor that I have never seen before.
David, look! They're wheels! Wheels? 여기 대체 어디야?
집이지? What a wonderful day to be in the house of the Lord. If you're here with us for the first time, please stand. What a beautiful family. Glad you're here.
How's your daddy like that new farm? He growing things good, doing things right?
Yes.
미국 애들은 할머니랑 같이 방 쓰는 거 싫어한다던데.
But I don't like Grandma.
걔는 안 그래요. 한국애니까.
Grandma smells like Korea.
야, 뭐라고? Grandma smell?
I love Steven Yeun. I loved him in Walking Dead. Loved him in everything I've seen him in, and I loved him first, but I loved him the most. I burned the brightest.
I was like, hey, Pete, check out this guy. You were like, I don't care for him.
I think I love him better than the two of you.
You loved him with more skill? Is that what you're saying? That's weird. You made it weird.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like this film with weird old grandma and these two parents just trying to do their best. How they string images together over the course of this trailer in 2 minutes rips my heart out. And then words on the screen say, your heart will be ripped out, and then it will be put back together to a burning house. And then suddenly at the end, grandma is wearing male underpants, and I'm happy again. This trailer is the emotional roller coaster of the movie, I feel like, and I am very excited to see it.
But not in a way that it gives everything away, which is great. This is the first time that I have talked back to a trailer when it said your heart will be ripped out and then put back together even stronger. I said out loud, "Oh, good." Like a crazy person, because I was so excited to see it, and then I was like, "Oh, is this just going to be a downer? Like now another thing's on fire?" And then it's like, "No, it's all going to turn out sort of good." And I'm like, "I'm Jake. I think it looks beautiful. It kind of looks like it has a Western aesthetic to it." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To see it come out in the country, I think, is the big difference versus seeing immigrants try to make it in the big city. And everyone's like, bonk, bonk, get out of my bodega, and like a bunch of city kind of things. These are just people trying to work the land, and things aren't working and having to deal with water rights. It seems like a new, like you were saying, like a new story.
It's a new story, and yet one that sort of has needed to be told. Like there feels like a hole. We've seen a lot of the we get insinuations of the Chinese and the railroads, and we get a lot of Italian stories going to the big city and buying a clothier or haberdashery and then being in the mob, and so we've seen all those stories. But like this feels like
I know, Tommy. I
loved it. I was a big fan of just throwing the word haberdashery in there. It hit me late.
And so this whole story just feels like one that is very resonant, and I can't wait. Kyle, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. I think I love Steven Yeun and whatever. It's like, sign me up for what I think.
Well, I do. I was the one that told you about it, but go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting.
Hang on, I got to call Steven.
Hold on, he's texting me. Why does Pete keep calling me? What is...
Steven, Pete's about to call. I'm recording, so put your phone on mute. Sorry, he's in the back. The doors
I got sort of vibes from I can't remember what was Awkwafina's movie last year.
This is the end
with the
grandmother. Farewell.
That's right.
Farewell. That was it. Yeah. Yeah, I got sort of that kind of vibe of listen, like people's honest stories, and we don't get to see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm impressed. I couldn't tell what exactly the time period was.
I feel like it's contemporary.
Is it contemporary? Okay,
felt like now to me it's tough to tell in the country.
Yeah.
A little bit more tough, but yeah.
Yeah. Then the clothing styles were a little bit ambiguous, so I couldn't tell. But,
Right.
Yeah.
We get it at some point. It's still in the festival circuit, so when we get it is unclear to me. I know it's going to be hitting the Heartland International Film Festival in October this month. It's also going to hit the Hamptons International Virtual Film Festival on October 10th. You could actually see it in Spain at the Valladolid International Film Festival. But pretty much it's just keep an eye out for it. It'll be hitting the internet and it will rip your heart out. And put it
Tell
together.
us the name again, because it's not a traditional name.
Minari.
Did you look up what it means?
Buttercup.
Oh, okay. So before the A24 card was played, Tommy, you actually had the first trailer up, so why don't you take the next?
I did. I have heard, it's very embarrassing. The one thing I had to do before tonight was to watch the movie The Endless by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. I've heard such amazing things about it. It's a very small movie that sounds a little bit like a ambitious primer. Like two guys got a little bit of money with a great idea and filmed the HE hockey sticks out of it. And now they have this new movie called... I just realized until just now I've been pronouncing it synchronic, and that's stupid. I'm sure it's synchronic because it has to do with an alternate sort of, well, like in 15 minutes into the future, there is a drug that you take and it hurts your reality. We'll see. Roll that trailer.
You know, they say we see everything once in this gig. Pretty sure we've never seen this.
They think they need help.
You all right?
I'm fine. The bad news is it's inoperable and never start you on radiation.
I'm fine. What's going on with you?
I want to know that there's meaning in the things I do.
I love any kind of movie that tries to explore reality. I love unreliable narrators. I love all of the words used in the aforementioned critics quotes, mind-bending and a Lovecraftian nightmare. And one of them says, if you're not obsessed with these two guys, this is going to change your mind. It feels like a mystery box. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Mackie, and I just think it looks... After watching the trailer, I'm so excited to watch it, and I have no idea what to expect. I guess that's my favorite thing. Pete, Kyle, do it.
What is your thought of what it is? Because I had the same idea when I first watched it. I was like, oh, okay, it's in his head. It's a mind bending thing. And now watching it again, it was like, okay, so it's teleportation? No,
it might, because there's that one, the turn in the trailer is they're not returning. They're going on like some sort of a mind journey, but then they're actually disappearing.
Right. But then he encounters what looks like a caveman. So is it time travel? I thought the same thing. I was like, Primer's a good pull. I was thinking this was a budget Tenet, but it looks like there's a different thing going on. The other thing that reminded me of was a Dean Koontz book called The Bad Place.
I haven't read that yet, but I'm a big Dean Koontz person.
I read The Bad Place.
Apparently, I'm not big enough.
It is. It like most Koontz's, he has what my friends refer to as the meatloaf ending, which is you're going along, you're having fun, then all of a sudden, like his wife goes, "Honey, meatloaf's ready," and he's like, then everybody dies. The end. Like it just wraps up so fast. You're like, oh, what? Right? We're over. It's over. Okay.
There's some like, it's like he's dictating it and he accidentally includes the words, "Wait, what was my page count again?" Because then it's like it was all a dream, or maybe it wasn't aliens. You've been Koontzed, and then he's just out. Yeah, I totally agree.
You've been Koontzed. But I love Matthew Mackie. We've all seen quite a bit of Jamie Dornan from the 50 Shades movies. But yeah, I like anything that tries to be smart. Like this looks like it's going to be a smart, twisted thriller, and I'm all for it.
What happened to make like Lovecraftian a thing to aspire to? Like, why do we have an old racist everything phobe? Like as a thing that
I don't think H.P. Lovecraft would be interested in having Anthony Mackie as the lead in his film.
I don't think he would. No, I think he would really resent that.
That's the just
and
desserts.
Well, and that's how they're trying to position it, like Lovecraft Country
Take that,
or Lovecraft County. Anyway, that show, which I have not watched, but that's everything that I've heard is like.
They addressed that in the very first episode and in a brilliant way.
That is what I've heard, that they're really trying to position that. I don't know that everybody else who's using Lovecraftian is doing it with that kind of awareness.
About that part.
Yeah.
No. Oh, absolutely. But that oh so famous poem, they actually recite it and discuss it in the first episode, and you go, okay, like we are not shying away from anything here.
Oh, okay, good. They understand. Yeah. Oh, good. All right. Well, all that's an aside. I think this looks really interesting, and it reminds me of what's the other one where they take the pill and become smart for 30 minutes?
Insatiable. Oh, limitless.
Yeah, no, limitless. Insatiable.
It was just I knew it was one word.
Limitless. It's kind of a limitless, but with like horror time travel elements. I'm sure I'd sit down for that.
Yeah, not in a theater though.
No.
Because God bless them, they think it's still coming out in theaters.
Yeah, no, it won't. I'll be right in the other room, right over there. It'll be great.
I'll be waiting.
Oh, that's right. That was the second time I said, "Oh, good." When I'm watching trailers, as if they were conversations. Well, I don't know about that trailer. That's what I said during. Actually, I did say that out loud during Kyle's trailer. If we're ready to transition,
I am so ready for Kyle's trailer.
We are learning a lot about the loneliness of Tommy. Bat and cleanup here. My trailer is a little film called Vampires versus the Bronx. And I'm glad they called it that, even though it's a weird title, because I would hate for them to try and make a pun or something, or try to do something that's like hip hop or something. So let's just keep it exactly what it is. So I was watching, it reminded me of a couple things. I'm going to go on a little bit of a digression here into some serious territory, then I'll come back around. Feel free to edit this out if it's totally boring.
Let's roll the dice, man. Let's see how it goes.
As part of my straight job, when I'm not in front of a microphone, I had to take cultural sensitivity training because I work with inner city kids, and so
this trailer has a lot of subtext.
Yeah, it does, and which I'm glad for. But as we're at the same time, the class started where I was doing this, they also had the Goonies reunion that Josh Gad put together.
Oh,
and so like it just happened, and as I was reading these things and watching that, the two things came together, and I was like, there isn't a young action adventure movie for black kids. Right. It doesn't exist. There is no Goonies. There is no Monster Squad for black kids because they're not allowed to be kids. Like as I was reading the stuff going, I'm like, oh yeah, because they're always thought of as adults, right? There's no easy, fun, just kids running around, having a good time movies.
Well, and if they are, I mean, there's Stranger Things, but it's just ripe with tokenism. Yes, that's it.
Has a black kid, it's like. But it's like there's not just like a bunch of friends going out and having a fun adventure, and like this is as close as we have kind of gotten so far. I think that is a genre that needs to be addressed. Somebody needs to actually make that movie.
Maybe Attack the Block.
Attack the Block it was probably as close as it is, but it's still Attack the Block. It's still inner city. It's it's like the kids thought of as criminals. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to like just separate it away from that. It's not like you don't have like the racist cop going, "Where are you boys going?"
Right.
Like
they're just it's just youth, right?
It's just youth, right? It's just kids being kids and having fun. So obviously this isn't that. But so like as we bring back around, this is, but it gave me that idea of like this is the kind of thing that we need more of. It's just kids having a thing, and so you get to see the kids, and there's a gentrification thing going on, which I really liked. Yeah, I mean I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that. But also,
but in the same way that the Goonies was about income inequality and housing, stuff. I mean, you can still rich. There's room for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gave me some Monster Squad vibes, some Goonies vibe, and a little bit of Vampire in Brooklyn.
I can't believe nobody has made any mention of Black Corey Haim or Black Corey Feldman or Black Jason Patrick. This is the Lost Boys, y'all. It's Black Lost Boys, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and it is, and you don't even have to go to a theater to see it because it's on Netflix.
That's right. Netflix knows where its money is. My couch.
I can't wait.
When do we get to see it?
Actually, it drops today.
What?
Yes, you can go right now as soon as you're finished listening to Satmat. Go watch Vampires versus the Bronx on Netflix.
I would say do it now. I've listened to the rest of this episode, and it's a real snooze.
Pause. Watch it. Come back. All right, so now it's time for the game, which you guys don't know what it is. So last week, Rob introduced the Tournament of Spies, where they eliminated down to find out who the ultimate spy was. Well, that's fine, except that it's October, y'all, my favorite month of the year, and that means it's time to get spoopy up in here. So we are going to do the Tournament of Terror. So I have put together a bracket.
Did you just say spoopy, though? Oh, okay.
I did.
I'm pretty sure you said spoopy. Was that to be terrifying?
No, it's I'm trying to appeal to the youth culture.
Oh, we're old.
Oh, is spoopy a word?
Apparently, my 13-year-old has informed me of this. So
spoopy.
Wow, internet?
Yep, he's right. Spooky, but in a comical or cute way.
I'm just trying to stay hip with the kids. Because, I mean, if anything we know about the Satmat, it's like there's a big youth contingent out there who does not feel represented by, the contingent of beards that are in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about the Tournament of Terror. So what I put together is it's completely arbitrary and all the rules are made up by me. What I decided to do is I wanted to have non-human adversaries, like basically creatures. Okay. And so then I also had a size limit. So like there's no Godzilla or no King Kong. I want to have it either human or slightly bigger than human things. And so and these are things that have always been themselves, not humans that have been transformed into something.
Okay.
Point of order.
Yes, go ahead.
So would Freddy Krueger then be disqualified?
He would, because he used to be a guy and now he became a dream demon.
Fair enough.
And I was trying to also stay away a little bit from, like I say, I only had 12. I did 12 slots. I mean, so there's other creatures you can be like, why isn't that on there? Well, because I didn't think of it.
Where do you stand on giant ants from them?
See, they're giant. So they're out.
Oh, okay. And little tiny ants, like from Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull?
Shush.
They could be in, but they are dumb. So I don't want to have them in.
Okay. Noted.
And Kyle, where do you stand on me calling you Dream Demon for the rest of my life?
I want to get it tattooed on my back.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to read you I'll read you the contestants that are in here. I have a mix of old and new, and some that are easily going to be eliminated, but I wanted to put on here just to bring attention to their awesome movies. So our contestants are the Terror Dogs from Ghostbusters, the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise, Pumpkinhead from the title Pumpkinhead. The Creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepy Creepy.
Gremlins from Gremlins. The Graboids from Tremors. The Babadook.
Wait, they were called the Graboids?
They were called the Graboids, yes. I know a couple of these I had to just make up the name because they don't actually have a name in it, so I can't. But that Graboids is actually from the franchise because there's like 5 Tremors movies now. The Thing from The Thing and its remake, The Thing. Pennywise from It, chapters 1 and 2. The Fish Beast from The Host.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Sea Monster from Sweetheart.
I don't know that one.
2019. We're going to talk about that one because I want more people to see that movie.
Outstanding.
And The Crawlers from The Descent.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, they might have been human at one point, but I love that movie, so I wanted to put them on the list. So, what is the category for why we pick them? You guys can you can do if we want to do them in a fight, which are more cinematic, which are scarier.
Oh.
So I'm going to show you the bracket like this versus that, and you decide it, and at the end we'll have our creature winner. So the first contest is.
Wait, but do we have to decide though what the
fight
is going to be?
They say Rob
do you
just
think, Pete?
let them flow. So
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking up
you mean
Sweetheart.
It can be.
oh,
I need to
Sweetheart,
see
yeah.
You
that.
mean it can
So
be up
good.
to us in our own? We don't all have to come to a.
No, it's just like
conclusion.
between the three of
Got
us,
it.
we just have to come up with a victor in this battle. So the first battle is the Xenomorphs versus Pumpkinhead.
Xenomorphs. Come on.
Xenomorphs. Wow, no discussion at all. Okay.
Sauce.
No.
Well, we know so many people are going to. I mean, Pumpkinhead was never going to go all the way.
No.
Holy
But
cow.
more people should see
Sweetheart,
that,
surprisingly
because-
complex sea monster is surprisingly complex.
It is really good.
That's
It is really good.
amazing.
Okay,
Never
our
heard of
next
such a thing.
lineup is Gremlins versus Graboids.
Well, I mean, so in terms of
Oh, see? Here we go.
I vote because of my theory of the aforementioned ants. I'm not afraid of really big ants. I'm afraid of tons of little, because I'm a big anti-swarm guy.
My wife is the same way.
So, have you ever seen your wife and I in the same room at the same time?
No wonder we're such good friends, Tommy.
And so I'm going to say Gremlins because they probably can also multiply a lot easier than Graboids, which also I don't care for that name.
Wait, so
what do you think, Pete?
What did you just vote? You just said
he voted for
Gremlins.
Gremlins because of the swarm factor.
Because of all of the words that I just said.
Okay,
And several
well,
sentences,
look,
and possibly impersonating my wife.
the problem is I can't get over the fact that I feel like more gremlins could be eaten in a single, like, whomp
True.
by a graboid.
You can't, I mean...
Then
right,
gremlins, what are the gremlins going to do?
Where are you going to walk?
Yeah, like, what are they going to do? Going to try and put a graboid in a blender?
No, they wait till the Graboids want to go to bed and they get in that little chair that goes up the stairs and they hotwire it. And there's Graboids flying.
I think I'm graboids. I think we're going to need a tie-breaking
Team
vote.
Graboids. Okay.
All right, Kyle,
All right, so I'm the
the
deciding factor. I'm going to say just because I live out in Arizona and I look out and think, wow, it's a lot of flat spaces where you could be taken out
Fair
by
enough.
a Graboid. I think I'm going to vote for Graboid.
I actually went and visited a friend in Arizona after I had seen Tremors, and I found myself like running across surfaces that were unpaved. You do that. Like, it's just like, I don't know why I'm running.
Yep.
Oh, I'm hopping from stone to stone.
All right. So our next face off. This is a pretty good one. It's the things that look like other things. It's the Thing versus Pennywise.
Oh, crap.
I'm going to say, actually, that's tough because they're both
They are.
shapeshifters.
Yep. So obviously the Thing can look like anybody, one at a time.
But-
Pennywise
but-
can also look like anybody. But he's just
But
a
did
sad
Pennywise
clown.
ever really look like someone from your life versus something you were afraid of? The thing that makes the Thing so scary is you leave a room, you come back in, and the three people that are in the room, it could be a thing. So I'm going to go with the Thing.
Okay.
I think that I think I'll probably land the same way. And the way I'm approaching it is, what is the mechanic of these two things, right? That Pennywise is, God dang it. They're both like alien creatures from another place.
Yes,
and that's the thing
they
that
are.
breaks my brain a
know,
little
it's
bit.
almost like I planned this.
One runs on fear. One runs on is a little more like the Thing is a little bit more like a xenomorph. He's
Trying to get by.
Just trying to survive.
Is just in there doing whatever it
crafty.
takes.
I feel like I have a little bit more alien pity
Arts and crafty.
for the Thing. Like, it's just trying to do its thing.
I
Like,
see.
Pennywise is a jerk. Like, he's
Just
literally
trying-
trying to eat
true.
our fear. And I feel like the Thing is just trying to do
That's
his
a good point. Pennywise is like actually
He's like
malevolent.
unfrozen caveman
The Thing
alien,
doesn't
right?
know
I mean,
who we
he's
are.
just like, I'm going to get out and I'm going to use you to do it, but I'm going to.
Sounds like we got another tie,
So,
Kyle. Tie,
so are you
Kyle.
voting? Which
No,
which
I'm
are you
the
voting
Thing.
then?
Yeah.
Pete?
I'm with
Thing.
Tom.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so Thing wins. Thing moves on.
Was I unclear
The
about that,
Thing.
Thomas? You look confused.
that you felt sorry. No, because I thought. Oh, I think I was mixing it up with which one do you hate the most? get it.
Okay.
I get it. Okay.
Okay,
Noted.
so obviously they've been pretty famous. So we're going to do a little digression here because the next lineup is the Sea Monster from Sweetheart and the Crawlers from The Descent. And I love both these movies, so I want to take a minute to talk about them because they're not as famous. So
I know one of them. What's the Sweetheart?
Okay, Sweetheart is a movie from 2019. It is about it's modern. It's about a girl who wakes up and she's been shipwrecked. Like she had been on a party boat essentially with her friends, and then the boat capsizes. Then she wakes up at Desert Island, and so she's like alone, trying to figure out like how she's going to survive. And stuff from the boat is washing up on shore. So it's a castaway situation. But then in the night, there's something else that lives on the island. So it turns out that there's actually a creature, and so one of her friends then survives, and so it then dies shortly thereafter. She buries the body. The next morning she comes up, something has dug up the body and eaten it. So then it's castaway, but then also at night a monster comes, and so she has to figure out how to survive. And so then it's like it's really smart because the girl is brilliant. It's like she does all the things you would hope that you would be able to think of in this situation.
Oh, she's a smarty.
Yes.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
like she
Okay.
figures out like how to set traps and how to observe it and not be seen, and so she can learn about the creature. Then two of her friends show up, and then everything goes all to hell. It is a really tense, and like I think there's no dialogue for like the first half hour, 45 minutes of the movie at all.
Wow.
It's just her alone on the island, and it's magnificent. So there's a sea monster essentially. You find out it comes from the water. That's what she learns, and then it comes out and does it. And then that creature is taking on the Crawlers. So in The Descent, which is another, I think a lot of people know, but I'm going to talk about it anyways because I want more people to see it. Is about a group of friends, all women, who get together and have an adventure. So every year they get together and they go somewhere and they do something adventurous. And so this year they're going spelunking, and I think it's Kentucky, and they go down into caves, and the first, I'd say, half of the movie is just them navigating the caves, like just figuring out like what's going on, and there's cave-ins, and there's getting stuck and all stuff. There's as someone who is claustrophobic, the claustrophobia scene almost sent me out of the theater. Like it is terrifying.
It's straight up worse than the horror of the movie. Like it's the worst part of it.
Because you don't even know it's like From Dusk Till Dawn. You don't even know it's a horror movie until meanwhile. So like, and there's a lot of simmering tension between two of the girls.
Because one of them's a liar.
Yes, right. Team Juno. So they and then finally as you think that like, oh man, it can't get any worse, then the monsters show up, and then things get so much worse. So they are subterranean creatures who are blind but navigate their environment very, very well, much better than this group of female amateur spelunkers. So those are the Crawlers.
If you want to hear us talk about it, you can hear us talk about it on a show that aired October 26, 2012. The Descent.
Ooh,
on the next
wow,
reel.
back in 2012.
Yep.
Yeah, do the deep dive back there. Okay, so we have the Sea Monster versus the Crawlers.
I'm going to say the Crawlers because of the added bonus of claustrophobia.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I do have a fear of, I believe that everything that is going to kill America or the world, America, who am I? The world will come from a lake.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is ridiculous,
okay.
Which we've talked about on a different podcast. But I think it's just scuttering around. I'm more worried about running from something that is better able to navigate its environment, where it doesn't even need the need to see, where all I'm going to do is hit my head on things all the time.
I struggle with this one because I haven't seen Sweetheart, and so like all I'm going by are pictures of this creature, and it's so stunning. If I were just going off of creature design, it would be Sweetheart, but it's like beautiful cross between, it's sort of a Lovecraftian homage to xenomorphs and I don't know, the Borg Queen.
And it's fast.
Okay. See,
so it's not like a big lumbering kind of thing. When it moves, it really moves.
I'm Descent is a 5-star and a heart movie for me. Like I love that movie. But I think in terms of straight up creature design, I'm going to go with Sweetheart.
Ooh,
Unseen.
Interesting.
Film Unseen.
Okay, love it. Kyle, it is up to you.
I love both of them. I think we're gonna have to go with the Crawlers as well, just because of exactly what Tommy was saying. Like you're in the dark, that's where they live, and you're screwed.
I don't feel bad about that.
The Crawlers move on. All right, second round. All right, so we have facing off against the Xenomorphs. We have the Terror Dogs from Ghostbusters, 1984.
Yeah,
Xenomorphs.
I think I think I can see who's going to be a clear victor here.
Maybe.
All right. Our next is from Jeepers Creepers. Where'd he get those peepers? It's the Creeper versus the Graboids. So
I'm going to go with Creepy.
Okay.
I knew that.
He's got the wings, so if it's a straight up fight, he wouldn't be touching the ground very much.
I like his mythology better. This idea that he only gets to feed every once in a while, that he then holds up in his weird barn cocoon with Ray. Who's the guy from Twin Peaks? The father in GP Creepy
Ray,
number 1. Ray, whatever his name is.
I was going to say Winston, but that's the wrong Ray.
Good night and good luck. I'll look it up. So listeners, just settle down. We'll figure it out. I like the idea of this creature that we don't understand that has like this weird human-based laws versus just a blind animal that is just... Right, exactly. That is just sort of
He's got a jaunty chapeau.
Yeah, that is just sort of like following Tremors.
Huh. Okay. I really do like what they did with his head. I think that's where I'm going. And besides, against the Graboids, like he also kind of has some of that flaring out fanged fins on his head.
Yeah.
That
like he looks like he's going to attack that the big guy from Jurassic Park.
That's right. Yeah. Newman.
One of the earliest carnivores. We now know Dilophosaurus is actually poisonous, spitting its venom in its prey.
Oh, and it's Ray Wise. If anyone's still screaming, Ray Wise.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm GP Creepy. I stand with Tom.
Okay. Creeper has moved on. Okay. Goodbye, Graboids. Sorry, Kevin Bacon. Not today. All right. Facing off against that outer worldly menace, the Thing, is Babadook. Babadook.
I'm the Thing.
Team Thing.
It's weird because Babadook is just such a
gay icon. Yes, he is.
I was going to say
he was adopted by the community.
Analogy. No, I know he is, but he's just an analogy for loss.
True.
And trauma. I think maybe I'm a little bit. While one plays with reality, one is inside of your head. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring up Bad Skin Magoo, Freddy Krueger, is because it all being in your head.
Hold on, I'm going to write down Bad Skin Magoo to pitch that this week.
Less of an escape for me, so I'm actually going to say Babadook.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's inside of you.
Okay.
That's scarier to me than just being on the outside. Like Freddy Krueger attacks you when you're not in control. The Babadook is
until of course I know you mean the Thing is literally inside you, snatching your body and then it is you. Whatever. I mean, tomato. So we do have a tie.
We got another tie. Yeah. So oh boy. All right, I'm going to have to go with the Thing, too, because it's like you never know. Like, you're trying to protect your kid from the Babadook, and it turns out your kid's actually the Thing.
That would be
That's true.
Great
I forgot about that part.
Right?
Thing on top of the bed, Babadook under the bed. It's going to be great.
But like an Alien versus Predator?
Thing versus
or like it's
Babadook.
Freddy Krueger. It has to wait for the Graboids to go to sleep. And then Freddy Krueger's like, let's do this.
Jason, what are you doing here? All right, so then we have the Crawlers versus the Fish Beast from The Host. Another film that I would like more people to see because it's really good. If you like Parasite, it is nothing like The Host, even though they're directed by the same person. But that movie is brilliant.
We've actually decided that Parasite was a prequel to The Host.
Okay.
Because he's lived in the bunker for so long, and maybe one day he gets out and opens a little bodega on the shore and suddenly gets... Yeah, it works. It works. Just, yeah.
I like somebody described it to me as the family from Little Miss Sunshine having to fight a monster. Yeah. And I was like,
good. That's good. It checks out.
That's The Host. 2006.
I, again, am more scared by smaller and many versus bigger and one. So I'm going to go with the Crawlers.
Oh.
The Crawlers were from...
Yes, from The Descent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to stay with the...
Both
with the
are
Crawlers.
exceptional movies. I am such a fan of Bong Joon-ho, and I'm going to have to go with The Fish.
Oh,
Fair enough. Kyle.
I know. I have to decide it again. I'm looking at the lineup, like who would be the more interesting at the end. But no,
you're the Dream Demon tiebreaker.
Yes, I am. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to go with the fish beast as well, just because we don't
take it. Take it.
Okay, here we go. Our final 2 matchups.
Oh, I live for this.
Okay. Xenomorphs versus the Creeper.
Xenomorphs. Not even a competition.
I think
maybe I shouldn't have added them to the list because they're like cleaning up here. They're the 90s bulls.
Like,
I mean,
they're
geez.
talked about in the movie of they are the perfect creature.
Yeah. Well, okay. Then and on the other side is the Thing versus the Fish Beast from The Host.
The Thing, very much for me, but I'm okay either way. One changes reality.
I don't like you being so easygoing because it feels like I have no chance to win.
Well, I think we kind of know where this is going to end up, but let's have
I'm going to go with the
fish
fish person. Fish beast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to still stick with the Thing, though. Like, I guess I'm team paranoia. What? Who said that? Was that me? Okay. All right, so final matchup, Xenomorphs versus the Thing.
This is the stuff comic books entire series have been written about.
That's right.
And here is my surprise answer: the Thing.
Whoa. Tommy with the twist.
Because one is a physical and mental threat.
Are you saying the Xenomorph is not a mental threat?
No, it is a blank terror device.
Okay.
Other than the fact that it turns around gender roles. It makes men pregnant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of deep stuff in there with the Xenomorphs. But most of the time from the Xenomorphs, you are blindly running from the best killing machine in the world. Whereas you're never in a room with a Xenomorph being like, I hope that Xenomorph's cool. Whereas in the Thing, there can be the equivalent of a Xenomorph right next to you, and you're afraid of killing a Xenomorph because he might actually be your best friend. So it's a real twist. It's a real Shambhala I'm throwing.
Wow,
in here.
yeah, you really got us for the third act twist, Tommy. Whew.
I don't know what to do now. That was
It's an interesting,
very compelling. And as you know, Thomas, I deeply trust your opinions on horror and your insights, and that may be a mistake.
One is a little bit more terror, one is a little bit more horror.
Yeah.
Xenomorphs are cleaner. The Thing is more horror in that it strikes at your actual reality and the foundations you already believe in. That is
so, like, right down the middle of Tommy Avenue. Like, that is...
Right? It really is. This is a really fun game.
Good. I'm glad.
Just because I'm sort of like talking, like, coming up with the idea really. I've been thinking of when you said Xenomorphs and when you said the Thing in round 1, I was already sort of comparing the two because they both are two of my most favorite things.
I would say I'm going to go with the Xenomorphs. I'm going to go with the terror because I can truck with terror more easily and conveniently than I can with horror. I'm still sort of a novice.
Right.
But also because I really want to hear how Kyle lands on this.
Oh, that's fun. I would like a tie. Even if you would have voted for me, I would have said, pretend he voted otherwise. Kyle, what do you say? It's a good answer.
I actually was thinking that I was going to go Thing and what you're talking about, because I've been liking that all the way through about the paranoia and the Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing of like, you don't know who to trust, everything. But the thing about the Xenomorphs is that they can be adapted to multiple genres. So like we saw the one, like the monster that's in the room with you, like you can't get out. It's you're in the building essentially in a ship. But then next time we saw them, it was like throw any piece of technology at it you want and nothing is going to stop it because they're just relentless.
Right.
So you get to, I think. So I think I'm going to have to go with Xenomorphs because of their adaptability.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if you just go between Alien and Aliens, like the entire sort of variety, the spectrum of Xenomorph personality. Okay, hashtag I stand with
shockingly, Kyle. The winner of our Tournament of Terror are the Xenomorphs.
Nice work.
Choice, good answer.
I think anybody looking at this would have been like, "Oh, of course they're going to win," but
how did
it was
we
the
get
journey,
there?
people? How did we get there?
It was a real fellowship.
Yeah. No, that was well done, Kyle.
Well, thank you.
Kyle, thank you very much.
And everybody needs to go
that was
free
weird.
shooter. All right, so now let's get into our big game, like the Satmat game. because we are here to talk about movies in limited locations. Is that what they went with?
Yeah, because we were talking
locations.
about Amor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So originally we're going to talk about one location, but that really narrows the pool down. So we went to limited locations.
Right.
Right. So we came up with 3 movies that match the category of limited locations because of the A24 card. Pete, you get to go first.
I am so excited following Kyle's example of talking about movies that more people need to see. I am going to be talking about the movie
Avatar.
Avatar. I want everybody to get ready for Avatar 2 Waterworld. It's going to be amazing. It's a little movie that came out in 2013, and somebody, I can't even remember who recommended, but it was one of those like late at night, hey, what should I watch? And somebody in Discord said, you should really go watch this film from writer-director James Ward Burkett and see what you think. It's called Coherence.
Oh,
I love Coherence.
I do not know what it is, so please tell me.
This movie is stellar. It's a mystery sci-fi. It starts out where a bunch of couples are sitting around a dinner table and they're having this conversation and the lights start going funny and then there's a comet and all of a sudden reality is bent. And you get to kind of ride along with these people as they sort of unravel what has happened to their neighborhood. The whole thing was shot in and around James Ward Burkett's home, his dining table, and it is largely improvisational. Each day of shooting, he would come in and he would have a notes sheet for each character, and he would hand it to everybody and say, this is kind of your motivation right now, and these are the major scenes that you're going to be shooting, and we're just going to roll the cameras and see what happens. And it is fantastic. So I give all of that to you.
It does feel incredibly
hugely conversational. Absolutely. And a great testament to an incredible cast that consists of Emily Baldoni and Maury Sterling. And I'm going to say this name and just see who reacts. Nicholas Brendan.
Oh,
Xander is in this movie from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yes. Yeah. Fantastic, fun cast. They do great things. It twists your brain. To me, it feels very much of a piece with like Predestination at that same level of, oh, wow, like that hit me sideways. But it's much more, I think all of the characters, the way he portrays the characters, they're much more just sort of believable human adult people. They're not super skilled. They're not super powered. They're just living the dream. You know what I'm saying? So Coherence 2013. I cannot believe I have not picked this movie before.
I love it.
There you go.
Tommy, what you got?
I'm calling an audible right now live.
Whoa.
As if this was improvisational. So I'm actually typing it into the filter to make sure it hasn't been. It has not. I rewatched this movie just recently. It takes place in exactly 2 places: a car on the way to a brunch and then a brunch.
Oh.
And the movie, it's very... hold on.
If there's any way we could spend the Satmat watching you compute.
It is, it came out in 2012. It has a star cast of really funny indie sort of actors, including David Cross, American Ferrera, Aaron Hayes, Julia Stiles. As I read those, they got less and less indie. Either way, I should have read it in a different order. It's called It's a Disaster. And what it is, it's in 2012, and what it is it's kind of a really fun comedy that David Cross is our audience surrogate. He's invited for the first time to meet his girlfriend or fiancés, I don't exactly remember. No, girlfriend's friends. And when they all meet and they start talking and learning about each other's insecurities and idiosyncrasies, all of a sudden, and this is very timely is why I'm bringing it up, there's the equivalent of a pandemic. All of a sudden, there is something set off saying there's something in the air. We don't know what it is. You have to lock yourself in this house. And now all of these people with all of these backstories, it's like this, the cast of Friends, if they were all kind of a mess, and then one David Cross trying to navigate this insanity during it. It's called It's a Disaster. disaster. I think it is uneven, but I think most of all, it is really fun, really funny, and it's got a dynamite ending, which I had forgotten about completely, and I laughed out loud at. It's a Disaster, 2012. Is this unprecedented that someone has come up with an Audible, like, right during the actual record?
I'm going to give it to you right now. Yes, it is unprecedented. You are unprecedented. And I cannot believe that you actually picked a movie from writer-director Todd Berger, for which everybody on the film board roundly panned Happy Time Murders.
Oh, Happy Time Murders. Yeah.
But this was back when he was in charge of
Fair
things.
Fair
he
enough.
clearly made it himself, and it's real. I think it's really
excellent.
Funny. And it's a cool, like, character piece.
No
yeah,
puppets.
So good.
All right.
No. God,
good
no.
choice.
All right. So for my first pick, trying out for a job is hard. If anyone who's gone through the process, but when it turns out that to get the job you need in order to save your family or to save your life is only one question, it makes it even more complicated. So from 2009, I'm picking Exam.
You've heard of that movie?
I have seen that movie and I loved it.
Own that movie. That is one of my most favorite movies, I'm not kidding, of all time. And all of my friends say it's one of the worst movies they've ever seen.
Oh, no.
I am on an island.
Tommy, did we just become best friends?
Oh my God. I love Exam so much. I can see it from where I'm sitting.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I love Exam.
It was great. Yeah.
So much.
Colin Salmon's in it, Gemma Chan. Like, yeah, it's great. It's like, it's all takes place in the room where the exam is being taken. And
as classroom.
It goes, the class, basically, like, all these people are here for the same job and they all have to fill out this thing, and they only have one question they need to answer. But when they open their pages, the question is blank.
Before them. Right.
So they have to figure it out, and then it it turns into, like, they're fighting each other to try and get the job, and like trying to figure out there's a secret and can they get out and what happens, and then you learn about more what the world's. So there's a sci-fi element to it because you find out more about what's going on in the world and fire and violence and all sorts of stuff.
And it's all about betrayal and all these psychological games and stuff. Oh, yeah. I love that movie so much, and it is rivetingly filmed for literally being in one classroom.
Yeah.
It is so great. Oh, that's so funny. And friend of the show and erstwhile host Darnell Smith, I know if you're listening to this episode, you are grinding.
You're like, he found another one?
So much. He hates it so much.
Yeah,
he and
it's
his
not going to be for everyone.
Fiance at the time, now wife, was like, that is the most he was like, we thought you were pranking us. That movie was so boring. Oh,
I'm deeply conflicted right now because I like both you guys, but you've both sold it by saying everyone hates it, and I don't know what to do.
I've never really seen a movie like it before. Like, I mean,
but it's so slick and well. It's not work.
Yeah, just even just for the sheer thing of, like, how do you make a compelling movie with, like, 6 characters in one room that never get out and have it be thrilling? Yeah. It's not just like,
and it's so well acted. I don't understand. Like, it's not like when you went to film school with people. They're like, "What's your favorite film?" They're like the Battleship Potemkin sequence, and you're like, "You're an idiot."
Those stairs.
Yeah, the answer should be Death System sequence. Yeah, it should be Raiders of the Lost Ark. But yeah, but I mean, I think it's thrilling. Sorry, I'm geeking out, but Kyle, I have never talked to another person that has actually seen that movie.
Nor have I.
And I own it. It cost $25 on DVD because they made one.
And you bought it.
And I got it.
Okay,
called up Stuart Hazeldine and be like, could you just run one off for me?
You actually just pay hourly the guy to run the press. Okay, well, right, I have nothing else to say about Exam because I've never seen it, but I will talk about my next favorite limited location film.
Yep.
Remember that movie that one time that Michael Caine did where he was in this house with another guy and they were...
Fun. Did the guy used to wear a cape?
And they were... I'm just saying that... No, the other one, 1972 Sleuth.
I thought you were going to say Death Trap as well.
I trapped you.
Trap, yeah.
I actually was thinking, is this Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother? But no, this is the Sleuth.
Yeah. I'm very excited about how that just West went down. I love Sleuth, and I actually went in looking for Death Trap, and I realized, oh my God, Michael Caine has been in this movie twice, and that's amazing. So I'm going to pick the earlier one. It is a great, great, great film. He is a weird.
I have honestly never seen it.
I don't think I have.
Oh, you guys, it's so much fun.
I might have caught it on like HBO back in the day.
No,
I have no clear memory. Of it.
It's possible. Everybody else hates it. Like, I guess your movie, but I am a real fan of Sleuth. And now that I say that, I should probably just see where does it stand on the IMDb star scale, because it is, Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier, and it's an 8. So I feel okay. It is well above the 6-star IMDb scale. You can also like it as well.
While Tommy tells us about his movie, why don't you find out what the rating is for Exam?
Oh, outstanding.
What do you got, Tommy?
I know Exam has been talked about once because I did think about it, Kyle, and I didn't use it only because it had been brought up in a SatMat by Steve Sarmento.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I did not verify my stuff, unfortunately. I was the other ones might have been mentioned as well, but this is why I don't get to host anymore.
It's a 6.8, by the way.
6.8.
No,
okay.
It's okay. You're free to enjoy this movie.
Yeah, say Andy would still go to see that.
My next one is 2010. It stars Deadpool in a box.
Nope. Nope. Mute.
Buried. This one will not be for Pete in the least.
Oh, nice.
This is the story of someone being, for international relations reasons, being buried. Oh, did you just take off your?
You didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear it.
I'm with
Pete
you.
has a problem.
I'm with you.
Pete has a problem being buried alive, like a real weirdo.
Man,
no, but
what's up with
anyways,
that?
Ryan Reynolds is taken hostage, and the entire movie takes place underground in a grave, and all he has is like a flashlight or a lighter, and then a cell phone that is rapidly running out of coverage or battery life, and he's desperately trying to figure out he's in constant contact with people that you never meet, or do you? But he's trying to tell where he is as he's slowly running out of air. It is incredibly obviously claustrophobic, and it is rough, and I am a really big fan.
That
so Buried
is a great
2010
one. Nice job, Tommy. That is a great poll.
Terrible pick.
Wish I thought.
The worst.
So my next one is much more expansive, Pete. So don't worry. Like this is because my next one takes place in a house. However, it is not a house you'd want to hang out in. See, because when a home invasion happens, it turns out that they have actually home invaded a house that is a center place for mob money, and so things go terribly wrong in 2005's Hostage, starring Bruce Willis and Kevin Pollak and Ben Foster, who's amazing in that movie. That's one of the latter Bruce Willis movies where he's not just phoning it in.
Right. That was the decline. The decline of Willis.
It's directed by Florent Emilio Siri. He basically came to America, did this movie, it flopped. He went back to Paris and has been working steadily, but never did an American movie again, which is a shame because this is so good. It is so stylish. And by the way, it's for those of you who have the fears, if you're a parent, there is a scene in this movie that will freak you out because I still think about it all the time.
I love Ben Foster.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah.
Cool.
Is that me now?
It's back to you.
Okay.
Your last one.
My last one. I was torn because, there are a couple of more Michael Caine movies that actually fit the bill for this, but I think I'm going to go with a movie that really surprised me. And I just watched it not terribly long ago, probably in the last year, but it came out in 2007. Which is,
I know which one this is. Just kidding.
So it is a weirdest experience is watching a movie that I think is going to start like some sort of a My Dinner with Andre, but it stars Steve Buscemi and Sienna Miller, and it's actually directed by Steve Buscemi. It's called just Interview. He is a declining kind of journalist writer. He's I think he's a political writer, and he is assigned to go interview Sienna Miller, who plays a star and a movie star. And it starts out in a restaurant, but it ends up in her apartment, and it's just sort of a night. It unfolds as a night of these two people kind of getting to know one another. He stars in it, directs it. it was only after I saw it that I learned that it's actually a remake of a 2003 film of the same name, directed by Theo Van Gogh, and in which Pierre Boukma plays the journalist, and he's interviewing real-life star Katja Schurman, and apparently it is very, very good as well. It's a 7 on the IMDb scale. The 2007 Buscemi remake's a 6.8, and it is worth every decimal point. I quite enjoyed this film. It was a diversion, and they both do a great job. It's funny. It's kind of dirty. It's great.
Dirty and Buscemi.
So Buscemi. He Buscemi's
you had me
everywhere.
At dirty and lost me at Buscemi.
You know what's funny though, and I forget to lead with this. It's one of those movies where Buscemi
Did you find him so erotic?
Because Buscemi plays a human being. He's not a character piece, right?
Oh,
and so,
okay.
To me, it is another one of those movies that sort of celebrates these actors as like real grown-up people who are smart and ask each other good questions, and it just feels like well-wrought dialogue. And it was
cool.
worth it. So, Interview 2007.
Was it Buscemi who was in Living in Oblivion?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the director?
Yes, the director, yeah. That was a great movie. Where he played a human being. That much made me think of it.
Right.
Right.
That means we're back to who?
Tommy.
Us.
It's me, and here's its time, and we're going to do great. This was in 2017. It was a Netflix original directed by my current favorite horror director that eagle-eyed Tommy Handsome fans will know is named Pete.
No, not one of those.
Is named Mike Flanagan. This is Gerald's Game.
Oh,
Gerald's Game,
one.
based on the Stephen King novel. Almost the entire thing takes place on one bed, where a husband and wife start to get a little bit kinky. The husband ties up the wife, immediately has a heart attack, and she is tied to the bed and is trying to get away. Yet Mike Flanagan's he has many incredible skills, but one of them is using non-reality to comment on the reality. Even though the husband immediately dies from a heart attack, he becomes her conversation character. He becomes her Wilson throughout the entire movie, acting as her inner talking
psyche. Psychic friend. Great Gazoo.
That's it. The great Gazoo that is helping her sort of talk to herself and figure out what she needs to do in order to free herself. Whether she does or doesn't, we'll never know. And all I want to say is the word ungloving. Anyways, It is a wonderful, really stylish, really quick movie starring the always wonderful Carla Gugino.
Carla Gugino.
And
she's so great. We really ought to give her a hand.
That's a funny. And it's great.
But you didn't say
I'm a really big fan.
You didn't say the guy, because Bruce? Did you say Bruce? Did you mention Bruce?
Bruce Greenwood. Oh.
I did. Well, no, I just mentioned the husband, Bruce Greenwood, the always excellent Bruce Greenwood plays the husband, and he is dynamite. Again, Mike Flanagan is the kind of person that carries along. He picks up actors and just carries them along with him. And Carla is one of his biggest muses.
She's amazing.
Ever.
She's one of my favorite actresses.
What did you want to say about Pete?
I want Bruce Greenwood to be somehow in my family tree. Like, I just want to be related to even distant, like my distant second uncle. Is that a thing? I would take.
You want to have
Greenwood.
A hard day and have him just walk out with a beer and just sit down and go, so tell me.
I don't even need him to say that. Like, maybe at the end of the day, you could just say,
just listen, just quietly listen and nod.
The bridge is yours.
And look off in middle distance.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tommy, it's me, Bruce. It turns out I'm both your mother and your father. And I'd be like, let's do this. Yeah.
Good pick. God, that is an exceptional pick.
Thank you.
I have not seen that movie because I read the book and I almost couldn't handle the book. So, and that was just in my brain. I didn't have to see it with my eyes. All right, so my last one is a slight tone change. So we all know what star vehicles are, but it's very rare that the star vehicle is actually also the set. Mine is going back to 1987, directed by Mr. Joe Dante. It's a little film called Inner Space, because the majority of the movie happens inside Martin Short.
That's funny.
That is
funny.
awesome.
That's a great pick. Does it hold up? I haven't seen that movie. That movie was so beloved for me, but that and Dreamscape, I'm almost scared. Both Dennis Quaid vehicles, I'm scared to go back to because I loved them so much.
I watched the Inner Space. Inner Space has some, just like most 80s thing, it's got some questionable ethnic humor. But for the most part, it holds up pretty well. It's fair enough. Let's not forget who Fisher Stevens played in the Short Circuit. It's a similar situation there with Robert Picardo, but still, it's still majority good.
That's a smart pick. That's great.
The guy was it Tommy in Dreamscape? Who was that actor? Is that his name?
Yeah. Oh,
David Patrick Kelly. Now that's a sinister dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
a
whole Dreamscape.
Sinister in all sorts of movies.
Sinister in everything.
Anybody have any alts?
Yes.
I did have Death Trap. If you guys had both said Sleuth, I would have said Death Trap. The other Michael Caine movie that I was so excited to pick, but pivoted was Noises Off, 1992, the adaptation of the terrific play.
John Ritter.
So good. So
That's
funny.
a good movie. Yeah.
My alts were, I didn't use it because I just talked about it when apparently I was a host for a week or something, and we have to put things on Instagram. Andy did the work, but it's Devil. M. Night Shyamalan related. He wrote the story, but he didn't direct it. Almost the whole thing takes place in an elevator, and then I said 12 Angry Men, but controversially, the 1997 HBO version,
I've actually
which,
seen
because
that one.
I'm a jerk, I actually prefer to the LeMay version.
You know what? I think I'm with you on that.
Because it is an all-star cast and
in color.
Tony Danza, and then my last two were Dread. The one that takes place all in one big building.
Yeah.
With the aforementioned Carl Urban, and then The Invitation, which is a house party movie that might be a cult. We'll never know.
Is that like House Party 6 or?
Yes.
Is there a pajama jammy jam in it?
It's kid and play, but play has been indoctrinated.
What were your alts?
Those were my.
I had My Dinner with Andre.
Yep.
And then I had two of a similar theme, which I'm sure had been mentioned, so I decided not to use them. Jacob's Ladder and Vanilla Sky, both which take place inside the characters' heads.
Oh, Jacob's Ladder is my...
I know. That's why I also didn't use them that way. But technically, it's one
Jacob's
location.
Ladder,
it's in Tom Cruise's brain, or in
Jacob's
Tim
Ladder,
Robbins' brain.
I would have given you 100% credit for it. Because that's really smart. Yeah. It never even occurred to me.
In terms of repeat pick scorekeeping, Andy picked Gerald's Game back in 2017.
But I thought that was okay because it's
it's totally, all of it's okay. There's no wrong. I'm just curious.
I just want you to know. I just want you to know that I did.
No, you're amazing. Exam has now been picked by. It was picked by Steve, and it was picked October 5th, 2019. And of course, by you
for a sat mat. For what? For the same thing. Yep. Like for what category?
I can tell you actually. Buried. Also, you and Steve have very similar picks, but also Steve and Tommy picked Buried.
Steve and I also have very similar.
And
I feel like Steve has done 19 sat mats involving limited location movies because I looked up a lot of my original ones and it was always like Steve, and I was like Steve.
And so I think overall, we did very well. Yeah, totally. What a great like in terms of creating a list of movies that really do represent like no goof. Great way to spin off the movie that we talked about, limited locations. This is a great list of movies right here, or a list of great movies. Great. I think this is fun. And so that brings us to next week. What are we going to do, Kyle?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have a couple of different things we can choose from. I'm only going to read the list for you and I because we know Tommy's not going to follow it. So next week is Roma from 2018, directed by the brilliant Alfonso Cuarón. And so we have a couple of different options. We have films, I love this, intentional black and white, as opposed to accidental black and white. No, when there was no other choice. I get it. Films without scores. That's interesting. Focus on the servants.
Yeah, movies about help.
Class structure, yeah. Accidental and or unwanted pregnancies. Why not both?
Hey, Kyle, can I jump
Please
in with
do.
something that just occurred to me just now, and I thought I would offer it. How about films involving near drowning?
Oh, hey, that's good because that goes along with what happens in Roma. That's nice. Nice job.
Oh, Tom, I love that you brought your whole heart to this episode.
Autobiographical films. Difficult birthing scenes.
Well, should we make it easy birthing?
It's a Cuarón staple, though. Really,
true.
Yeah. Let's keep it difficult.
And
Okay.
revolution adjacent stories. So there's a revolution happening, but it's not part of the main plot. It's happening over
Have
there.
you guys both?
Like
you
Evita.
guys both seen Roma?
No.
Really?
I got too
Or in Italian, they would say,
because
no.
You told me, you were like, you'll love it. The opening 18 minutes is someone mopping. And I was like, nope. I know I should see it. I'm just being a jerk. But my sum up of Roma was it was a huge billboard in Hollywood when I was driving by. This was during the Oscar race. And it's the nicest, hardest smackdown I've ever seen. It was an ad for, what's the one, the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga movie? Star is Born.
Yeah.
And it was for A Star is Born, and then it had a picture of Roma, and it said, "Some films you respect, others you enjoy."
Oh, wow. Shots fired.
Go for it. Totally.
Wow.
And I was like, holy cow. And I rammed my car right into the sign because I was so angry, and I haven't driven
Knocked
since.
down the Evangeline billboard. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, look.
No, I have not seen Roma. I feel very
Well, I
guilty
mean,
about that.
as long as you already feel guilty, I won't, drive it home.
Yeah.
But I will say,
I don't feel guilty about not seeing it, so, come at
they
me,
mopped
bro.
for a long time. There was apparently a lot of laundry being done, and they all hung
and
each other
she's
on a beach.
always picking up dog poop. Like that is a central
All the
theme
time.
of the movie: is cleanliness of sidewalks and
Oh,
driveways.
so it's like a serious version of Spangled.
oh, jeez.
I would like to nominate the first one.
Intentional black and white
Unless
films.
No, focus on the servants.
Okay.
Focus on the servants. Okay.
I think that it has a lot of upstairs, downstairs kind of potential, and I like that a lot because I love that genre.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I picked one.
Okay,
So
focus on
both of
servants.
you
All
guys
right.
have to pick
What do
one.
you think, Pete?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay, I'll go. Who
Yeah, sure.
talks first? I'll talk first.
Why don't you talk first?
Think.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you talk first?
Okay. I think I might go with the things that I think were really interesting to me. The intentional black and whites. I think the movie's a work of art, and that is a central defining piece of the film. Is the way he uses color and camera and big. I mean, it's a large format camera in a very intimate space, and the way he chose to not use color, I think was really special. Like it
real
was really.
cop-out?
Yeah, the episode hasn't dropped yet, man. Don't give away this gold.
But I really, honestly, I think revolution adjacent films is a surprising thing I can't quite let go of. I'm really curious to see what kind of list would come out of that.
I like that revolution. So yeah, films that take place around or near.
Well,
or
yeah, but
during
I mean this
some
yes.
sort of cultural
and this movie,
revolution.
and without spoiling it, he did a ton of research on it takes place in the 70s, and so he did a ton of research on specific protests and riots. And there is a place in the movie where the sort of the fable, the day in the life kind of fable of this servant collides with reality, and it is done in a particularly moving and kind of terrifying way. And so
because the character has to mop up after it.
really leaning in on the part.
It's the only thing I know, as you said. You're like, the opening 49 minutes of the movie is mopping. And I'm like, what are you talking
that's
about?
funny.
Seriously, she empties the bucket.
I was
fills the bucket,
roundly
comes back
scolded
in,
for
empties the
for
bucket
telling
again.
Andy that. He took me to class on why I'm just wrong to be even remotely sarcastic about that. So I don't know. What do you got, Kyle?
Okay. But no, I love that choice, though. out of these. Yeah.
I'm going to go with films with no score. I think music can be kind of a crutch that a lot of filmmakers use to, like, now's the part where you're supposed to be sad or scary. So I'm interested to see that. Plus, I'm interested to see your guests and see how they interpret that. So it could be, they have some fun stuff.
Is it okay? Is there a reason to maybe enlarge it slightly to limited score in the same way that this was limited and not one location?
Well, it's not no music. It's no score.
Oh,
see,
that's
so like
true.
I'm saying, there could be various interpretations of that.
There might be
so
street
I'm curious to
singers,
see what they
for
come
example.
up with. And of course, it's up to our amazing audience to decide which of those
Right.
three things will be chosen. And if they'd
Fair
like
enough.
to vote in that, well, I can tell you how. It's over at our Show Talk channel in our Discord community. And love to have you over there. We're always over there chatting about various and sundry things. There's even a Marvel Movie Minute channel, huh? Right? To get into it, you can also join our Patreon. For just $5 a month, you can become a concessionaire supporter and get access to show live streams as we record. You can see our beautiful faces and our amazing beards. Early access to shows in your very own personal podcast feed and access to the super secret member channels. Ooh.
Don't tell them.
One thing I do want to tell you about, though, is merch. That's right. We've got our stuff. If you like our logos, you can put them on anything you want. You want stickers? You want mugs? You want masks? We got it all. You can even get a Marvel Movie Minute mask with our faces on it. You can put my face on your face.
I like to sleep on Kyle.
Pillows. Oh, yeah. There's amazing pillows.
Some
I've got one myself. You get Rob and I, you can snuggle up with us and whisper all your favorite things about Marvel to us. And every time you
I heard that merch is short for merchandise.
It is short for merchandise. Thank you, Tommy. And if you buy one of those cool masks, we'll also donate one medical-grade face mask to their frontline healthcare workers through Direct Relief. So do something for you and do something for them, too. And that's our show.
That's show, everybody.
Yeah, and I've been fired as a host, so you'll never hear me in the big chair
Not
again.
been fired, Kyle. Stop it.
It was fun.
Nice try, Kyle. Oh, he's already long gone. Oh, well. I think I saw a graboid come through his wall.
So thank you guys. I was saying, thank you both. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Kyle.
Our
Thank you, Tommy.
pleasure.
Good to talk to you guys.
Always fun.
Enough said.